Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? What's up to my protectors out there? How's everybody doing? How is everybody feeling? What is good? It's been a while since I've gone live here. Just been trying to do some rearranging, some rescheduling, coming up with some more ideas, and because I got so many things going on, so I'm really getting myself into really drilling down or honing down on time management skills. And so I'm really making a big effort in that field of time management. Simply using your calendar. All right. And that's something totally different for another channel. But I thought I'd share that briefly with y'all. And so, yeah, today we're going to talk about the dangers of transitions. All right. The dangers of transitions. You see the picture there. Looks like a little family there walking back to their car. All right. Just leaving. I guess looks like a Walmart. And they are transitioning from the exit of Walmart to their vehicle. And a lot can happen between going from your vehicle. Walking from, exiting a store, going back to your vehicle, or vice versa. Exiting your vehicle and going to a store, a restaurant, an event, so on and so forth. Things can happen in between. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys and kind of discuss with you the dangers of transitions. All right. This is Survive and Protect. Let's go. All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? Appreciate y'all for coming in, checking me out. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk about transitions here. I'm going to see something real quick. I guess you can't do that with the phone. I am on the mobile phone. All right. Matter of fact, let me do something real quick there. You guys can always go to the website. There you go on the screen. And so, yeah, before I go into it any deeper, I'm going to put a video up here in a minute. But let me just briefly describe what transitions is for those who might not know what I'm talking about. All right. Let me see here. Let me step out of this car here and just show you what I'm referring to. It'd be better to show you, all right? So, transitions. All right. Let me see if I can switch some things up, if possible. All right, there we go. There we go. Let me see if I can pull it off. And I think I can. There we go. All right. There we go. So we are here at a Walmart, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter if it's a Walmart. It could be a concert you go into, a restaurant. It could be even you leaving your apartment, leaving your house, so on and so forth. All right. So transitions is simply you leaving one place and going to another place. All right. It simply is you leaving one place and going to another place. So I'm going to use this car for an example right there. See me pointing to this red car right there? Right there. Let's say I pulled in and in the parking lot right here, right? And so I exit my car there, and then I'm leaving the car one place and I'm going to another place, right? Which is inside the store, inside Walmart. So what can happen is between leaving the car and then going over to the inside the store there, between those two places, anything can go down. You know, you could be walking, getting ready to walk, and you're halfway there, and somebody just jumps out of nowhere and just starts busting shots on people. These are things that really happen I'm sure you guys are aware of different stories within the last few years. These situations have really happened where shootings have occurred at Walmarts, as a matter of fact, but not just Walmarts, but different places. All right, so those are transitions. Now, another example of a transition could be you leaving your apartment, right, and you go into your car, or you leaving your house for the moment you step out your door. Once you're on the outside of your door and you walk into your car, whether you got to go down the stairs in your apartment or you're just walking across a flat ground, you are transitioning from your apartment, your house, going to your vehicle. All right. And so anything can happen in between there. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to put that out there because I'm starting a membership, and eventually I'll put the link in the description. But I'm going to be talking. It's the name of the membership is called My Vantage Point. Excuse me. And I'm going to be showing you some real life videos and showing how you can protect yourself of different situations. And then one of those videos will be of a particular rap artist who I think ended up getting killed because I guess he wasn't paying attention to his transitions. He was leaving either a building or a store and was going back to his vehicle. You might be familiar with this story. I think it happened about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years at best. But he was exiting one place and going back to his car, and there was a vehicle already waiting out for him. And as soon as he got to approaching the car, they exited their vehicle and started busting on him. So this is something that can happen to anybody, but yet and still, if you're like a high level person, when I say that, I mean president, an actor, a high level actor, actress, they're going to have bodyguards and stuff like that protecting them, or close protection agents or officers that's going to be protecting them anyway. But not everybody has that benefit, or maybe can't even afford it. And this can happen. Another incident I'll give you real quick, and then I'm going to show you a video, is this actually happened several years ago. And this is just a regular person. There was a girl who was, it wasn't per se a transition. It was, and it wasn't per se. But there was a girl who had to testify about maybe a murder or something to that effect. And I think there was attempted to kidnap her, but while she was in her vehicle. So I guess you can kind of say you can kind of transition while you're in a vehicle, but it's a lot more difficult for somebody to get at you while you're in a vehicle as opposed to you being on foot. But that's something else I might discuss a little later on. But she had left her apartment, and I think she was going to her vehicle. I don't think they got her as she was going to her vehicle, but she got in, and she was being followed after that. I think she realized after a while she was being followed. And matter of fact, I'm gonna be talking about being followed, not necessarily about a car, but being followed on foot or being followed around, period, in the store, whatever. I got a few stories of my own to tell you about that recently happened. So the next video I'll be talking about that. But anyway, the girl got in her car, was driving around wherever she had to go, and I think she was being followed. Can't remember if they were shooting at her or whatever. I guess trying to keep her from testifying, basically. So the whole point I'm making about that is this can happen to anybody. You can get in an argument with somebody, and that person might let you slide right then and there, but they might be coming back to get you later down the road, or the next day, or a few hours after that. So you never know when somebody's following you around. And so you must pay attention to when you're going from one place. Could be a car to the store, could be the store to the car, could be your residence to your car, could be you exiting your car and going back home into your residence. All right, could be you getting out the car, going to a restaurant to sit down at. So hopefully that should explain what your transitions are. You're transitioning from one place to the next, and anything in between there, something can happen. It's possible, and it might not happen at all. All right. But you have to be aware of the transition. So with that being said, I'm going to play this video real fast here. And I'm going to say this right now for the YouTube, because they've been hating a lot on a lot of folks. This is fair use. I'm playing this video for commentary and for educational purposes. So YouTube, don't try to ban the video or whatever. Hopefully it won't be as violent, although there are other self-protection video channels that they let them show all types of violence on it. But for some reason, my channel seems to get hated on by YouTube for some reason. So be sure, for those who are watching me right now, be sure to tell your friends and family about the channel. All right. Subscribe. If anything, if nothing else, just click the thumbs up. Click the like button, man. It doesn't cost you nothing to do that. That will also let YouTube know that other people are interested in these types of information, right? So real quick, let me play this video. You might be familiar about this incident that occurred. I forget how long ago it happened, but you might be familiar with this incident that happened some time ago. And if not, you'll know about it right now, all right? So let's play this video.
On March 30th, 1981, a would-be assassin fired 6 shots at President Ronald Reagan outside the Washington Hilton Hotel, 2 miles from the White House. Washington Post reporter Del Wilber, author of Rawhide Down, The Near Assassination of Ronald Reagan, met us on the sidewalk where the shooting took place to tell his story of that day.
She shoots 6 shots. The first one hits Jim Brady, the press secretary, in the head. He falls down. The second one hits Tom Delahanty, who's a D.C. police officer, who had turned around to check on the president's progress. He gets hit in the back, falls down, screams, "I'm hit!" Hits the ground. Now the path to the president is clear. It's wide open. Hinckley has an effective range of 20 to 30 feet. He's done target practice. He can hit stationary targets 20 to 30 feet. Jerry Parr, the lead Secret Service agent, Reagan's lead Secret Service agent, meanwhile, in 4/10 of a second, I've tried to time it, it's very difficult, but in about 4/10 of a second, has grabbed the President of the United States the moment he hears the gunfire, thrusts him behind Tim McCarthy, who is now another Secret Service agent, who swiveled his body, takes a bullet in the chest. The first bullet hits Brady, the second one hits Delahanty, the third one flies over Reagan's head and lodges in a window of that building across the street. They actually recover it. There's a kind of a cool photo of the little bullet hole in one of those lobby windows. The fourth one hits McCarthy, who's turned like this to take the bullet. He's not wearing a bulletproof vest. Hits him right in the chest, spins him around. Just as they're behind them, Jerry Parr credits Tim McCarthy with helping save the president's life at that moment. The next bullet hits the window of the armored limo window, so the bulletproof window, just as you can see the president flashing behind it with Jerry Parr pushing him in the limousine. And the sixth one cracks across the parking lot. No one knows where that one went at that moment. Then Jerry Parr gets him in the limo, someone slams the door shut, and so they drive away and they head straight out this way towards Connecticut Avenue at that moment. What they didn't know at the time was Hinckley's final shot, the sixth one, had ricocheted off the back quarter panel of the limousine. Actually, they recovered the black paint and matched it to the limousine off the bullet that was later removed from the president. And as Reagan's diving, it hits him right here on this side, right around here, and lodges an inch from his heart.
We're going to get in a taxi and follow the ride of the limousine. And do you think this is roughly the way it was parked?
This was roughly pretty close. It was this direction, like this, out there towards T Street. So Jerry Parr, the agent, looks out the window and sees there's a pockmark on that door, on that window, where the bullet has, your window. And he also notices the 3 guys down the sidewalk as they pull away. He goes, "Nah, this is bad. There's been a shooting." He props Reagan up in the seat you're in, props him up, kind of like this. Reagan's kind of like this, like a tired basketball player. And he runs his body inside his coat and his hands through his hair to check see if there's any blood. And there's no blood. So he feels pretty good. And he tells the driver to tell on his radio, because Jerry Parr has lost his radio. It bust off from his sleeve mic in the melee, and he lost his transponder. And so he can't use his radio to tell everyone what they're doing. So he tells Drew and Rue to use the microphone here to radio down to headquarters that they're heading back to the White House. Actually, they use the code word Crown. And he takes the radio from Drew and Rue and says, "Rawhide is okay. Rawhide is okay." Rawhide is Ronald Reagan's code name. That's where I got the title of the book from.
Rawhide is okay. Follow up. Rawhide is okay. Half back roger. You want to go to the hospital or back to the White House? We're going to Crown. Okay. Back Back to the White House. Back to the White House. Rawhide is okay.
Right about here, Jerry Parr realizes that something's wrong with the president because he's having trouble breathing. He says, I'm having trouble breathing. I don't know. What's wrong? Are you having a heart attack? Is it your heart? And, Reagan says, I don't think so. And then he starts dabbing blood from his lips, and it's bright and frothy blood. And from Parr's training, he knows that means it's oxygen. It's probably from the lungs. That isn't good. And so Jerry Parr has to make a call.
Go ahead, Drew. Roger, we want to go to the emergency room of George Washington. That's the Roger. Go to George Washington fast. Roger, Sergeant Barrow, could you? Get an ambulance. Get the stretcher. Horsepower, Jack, you copy? CW. Correct, we've made the call. Horsepower. Let's hustle.
Because he can't say on the radio, Reagan's hurt. They don't use Reagan's name. They know people and assassins and news media can be listening to the open radio communications, hence they use the code names. And so they abandon Crown, the White House, go to the hospital.
All right, so there you have it. Let me switch back here real quick. Whoa, it's not what I wanted to do. Let me switch back real quick. So there you go. Reagan was in his transition. I used that as an example there. All right, so there we go. So Reagan, when he was leaving one place going to another, as he was leaving the place, that's when he was transitioning to go back to the vehicle. And what's the dude's name? I think it was Hinckley that started busting the shots. And so the bodyguards or the Secret Service agents grabbed them and put them in the car, and they left. So the whole point is that things can happen when you're transitioning from one place to the other. All right, one place to the other. You can transition, and things can happen. All right. So these things that I'm teaching you because somebody left a comment on one of my videos, and I know it wasn't a comment like saying they were, but they were saying people can get scared of some of the stuff that I'm teaching. And it's not a point of trying to scare you or scare anybody. And like I always like to say, it's nothing to be scared of. It's something for you to be aware of. All right. And these are things that can potentially happen. And like I said, you could be going from your car and going inside a Walmart. And we all know there's been Walmart shooting. I think it was one in Arizona, a few other places. You remember the salon shootings in Atlanta. And so these things can happen, and it's better. It's not for you to be scared of. It's about coming up with a plan and being aware of these things. And the more knowledge you get and the more aware of stuff like this, you can start putting certain things into practice, and then it ends up becoming just something normal to you. And you don't even have to think about it after a while. So there's nothing to scare you. It's always for something for you to be aware of. So what do you need to do? Let me give you some tips. All right. As a practice, try to make it a practice as much as you can remember to do so. Whenever let's go with you leaving your residence. A few things, and not to say that everybody, some people might have people after them for certain reasons, and some people may not be. But it's a good practice to look out your window of your residence, wherever your car is parked. Just kind of do a glance out the window and figure out, see who's hanging around, who's not, before you even walk out your door. All right, so you get an idea of what's going on, who's around. It doesn't have to be something extended, just a quick brief. Let me peek out the window, let me see who's out there, blah, 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 blah. Oh, kids out there, they're hanging out, some people hanging out, so on and so forth. So it's something like that you can do, all right? Now, once you get in your car and you're driving, you're going to wherever you want to go, and we'll use an example here, like going to Walmart. As you're pulling in, decide where you want to park at, but at the same time, just be aware who's, people that's going back and forth to and from the cars, see if there's people hanging out, just standing around. Sometimes there's people that are just sitting in their cars. All right. Got to be aware of that too. It might be that they're just waiting for whoever they are with. And so they're just hanging out, chilling in the car, and they're just waiting, shooting the breeze. All right. It could be somebody trying to watch somebody. You don't know. All right. It could be somebody trying to wait for somebody to come out so they can do some harm to them. You just don't know. The point is for you to be aware of what's going on in your immediate surroundings. So if I pull in the parking spot, like I'm in the parking spot right now, I'm going to sit in the car. As I even pulling up, deciding, okay, this is the spot I want to go to. I pull in. As I'm getting ready to pull in, I'm kind of looking around, scoping as I'm slowly pulling in the parking spot. All right. As I'm parked already, then I might take a glance a little bit before I exit the car, just to see who's around, who's not around, whatever. Then proceed to go to the store, the inside of the entrance, right? And as you're walking, because that's where things can happen, as you've seen in the video when he talked about Reagan, as he was going from one place to the next, that's when things popped off, right? So as you're going, you don't have that luxury of somebody to protect you. So you got to be your own protector, right? Or you might have family members that you need to protect. So you might have to play the role of that shift agent. People might not know I know about that shift agent. So you might have to play the role of the shift agent or the agent in charge or the officer in charge or your family's bodyguard, however, or your family's close protection officer. You might have to play that role. So as you're walking with them, you might have to be the eyes and ears for them. All right. And as you're going around, you want to be glancing around, making sure things are cool. Nobody, you might be walking and you see somebody sitting in the car as you're walking past the car. All right. And so just make yourself aware. Okay, there's somebody sitting in the car. You only have a few seconds to peep out their mannerisms to see if they're looking shaky or they just relaxed and chilling. You only have a few seconds to determine their mannerisms in the vehicle. All right. People are approaching. You got to watch hands. All right. These right here can pick up weapons. These right here can punch, can grab you, can attack you. And so I can grab something. And so you always want to be aware of what people's hands are doing. All right. And you only have seconds to glance at that. And as time goes on, you'll get better and you start knowing some little nuances that you don't have to be, because it can also seem like it's paranoia, but it really isn't if you begin to put certain things in practice and it just becomes more part of your lifestyle. Then you can go on and have a lot of fun wherever you at, go to the beach or whatever, because things will just become second nature after a while. And it won't seem like it's a paranoid type of thing. And so as you see when I'm talking to you, I'm glancing around my darn self, right? I'm trying to peep out because I'm going to go in the store in a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change where I'm parked at to go inside the store. So just got to pay attention to what's going on. And this is another thing to be mindful of. This isn't something that happens every day. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen to normal, quote unquote, normal folks. Like, as long as I've been standing here, nothing popped off. Not to say that it won't, but most days nothing's going to happen, but you want to keep on putting those things into practice. All right. Now, as you've seen with the president, someone on his status, that could possibly happen. Somebody might be looking for a president and not looking for the average Joe or average Jane, right? Unless you might have got into it with somebody and pissed them off, and maybe they decided they wasn't going to do nothing, but they figure, well, I'm gonna go follow this person and maybe decide to do something to you later. It could be. All right. So this can happen to anybody, but the likelihood of the average everyday person, maybe not. And then you might walk into something that goes down that wasn't even intended for you, but you might walk into some place where things happen and you just might be at the wrong place at the right time. You know what I mean? And so it's very important of being aware of your immediate area, your immediate surroundings when you're leaving from one place to the next. All right. And so I'm gonna leave it at that because there's a lot more I can get into, but I think I could probably do other videos that are kind of I can build off of this, like as far as what to do when you get in the store and stuff like that if something goes down there. So those things, I think I did a video on that a while back, so you might have to check on this channel. I think I kind of discussed about that, but I can always get into it again at a later date and just build off of things like that. All right. So, because today I'm just talking about transitions, and so we're going to stick to transitions. So now that you know what transitions are, and you got an idea of how to handle what you need to do, start putting it into practice. Make it like the best way I say sometimes is to make it kind of fun for yourself. And if you're with anybody adult age or old enough to teach them that, make it a kind of a practice for you two together. And with kids is a little bit different. I'm gonna be doing some videos in the future about children in protection as well. And I'm gonna have to do a little bit different because YouTube, has changed their policies over the years. I had a great video on here some years ago, how to do certain holds on children that you won't hurt them, but it will keep them from hurting others and yourself. And it got like 20-something thousand views, and then YouTube hated on that. Seems like there's a thing with YouTube, man. They don't want you to learn how to protect yourself. They don't want you to know anything. They just want you to go into these places and things, and stuff goes down. And then the only thing that people can do instinctively. My throat is dry. Excuse me. The only thing that people can do is what instinctively comes to them, and that's not good either. And so they're trying to keep you from a lot of information. There's a lot more I can say about that, but I'm gonna leave it at that. And so, yeah, transitions. You're leaving from one place to another, and between those 2 points, something can happen. And so you need to be aware between those 2 points of who's around you, what's going on, so you can make it to that other point from one point to the next. And like I said, it could be anything. It could be going from your car to someplace, from your someplace to your car, house, whatever. It could be going from your house to your next door neighbor's house down the road, right? It could happen like that. You could be going from one place and walking down a couple of houses down the street. You transitioning from your residence to another person's residence, and something might go down in between there. All right. So that's what a transition is. This is crazy. Excuse me. Excuse me. This air is crazy dry. But that's what it is. That's what transitions are, all right? Man. And I still got a semi-cold too, so that is all but gone except the scratchy throat. So I'm trying to get rid of that. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Take this video, share it, go over it, learn it, and remember to watch your transitions, all right? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, remember this. Be aware, meaning be aware of your surroundings. Watch the hands of people, and always have a plan. Have a escape plan and an emergency plan, all right? So be aware, watch the hands, and have a plan. And I will see you guys again as I take care of this dry ass, scratchy throat. All right? All right, appreciate y'all. I am out of here. Peace.